So today I'm going to be talking about food safety, sanitation, and different practices on the inside of the kitchen that prevents common injuries such as different slips or falls, cuts or burns, chemical misuse, and also any other gas-related dangers. So mainly to prevent slips and falls, every single spill that you create in the kitchen should be cleaned up immediately, and every single bit of walkway should be staying clear. And also it will be really good and mindful to wear slip resistant shoes. That will help you really slow up on gaining any injuries, to reduce the risk of that. Also to prevent any sort of slips that could give you different sprains or strains to your body. And they also should try to, like, workers or anyone in the kitchen should be mindful to make sure you're bending the right way when picking something up, never trying to do like anything too strenuous or too crazy. Always used to bend with the knees when you're doing anything like that. And for cuts and burns, cuts can easily be prevented when you're handling knives. Make sure that the sharp side is facing down, away from you, and then when you're cutting, put it firmly against the board or whatever surface you're using to cut. And then your offhand should always be like folded in when you're trying to like cut anything. That'll prevent you from cutting or nicking any part of your hand while you're doing that. And also, burns can simply be avoided by using different mitts when you're using hot surfaces like stoves or ovens. And also, fire prevention includes like never leaving food that you're cooking just unattended, or any sort of flammable objects away from anything that gives off any sort of heat at all. And then when lifting different heavy objects, it is very important to always lift with your legs to prevent any sort of injury that could come from your back. And then chemicals of any kind, especially when they're in the kitchen, should be labeled and should always be stored furthest away from the food and should never be mixed together. And also, using those different chemicals, whether it be for cleaning or whatever the case may be, always use protective equipment, whether that be gloves or some sort of protective jacket to cover your body, or protective goggles to cover your eyes, whatever. And then also, now with gas safety, if you're anywhere like with like a gas stove or whatever, and if it has some sort of smell, all the burners should be completely turned off. And also the gas valve should be closed if it is also safe to do so. Any sort of matches or lighters in that area should never be used at all unless there is somebody there who knows what they're doing. And any sort of issue should be reported to any sort of higher up or any sort of safety person to come and fix it, whatever the case may be. So, and by following the proper safety and sanitation procedures, different kitchens can prevent injuries to fully create a safer environment for everybody that's working there.